Rightio. It's a good evening and good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are on this planet. Here in Brisbane town, it's just gone past 7 o'clock here on a Sunday night. And
it's Monday night.
Oh, a long weekend, long Labour Day. Holy gosh, there we go.
Start again, Monday night.
Monday. There you go. Fantastic long weekend. Yeah, just lost track of time. Mr. Val Hood, how are we?
I'm very good, very, very good. In fact, keeping myself busy and out of trouble.
Out of trouble. There you go.
Yeah, that's a bit hard sometimes, but I'm trying really hard at the moment. So there you go.
Right. So I've seen some little posts that you put up this week. You've been out walking along your beach and breathing in the fresh air.
I know. I did 2 1.5 hour walks the other day, and I tell you what, my body went but it's really good. And I'm lucky that I can get out and walk on the beach. There are a lot of people who can't, and because I live in an area where there aren't many people, I can get out and enjoy everything. So, and spend time in my garden. And I was so excited. I posted on Facebook. I was so excited because I actually spent time with my granddaughters and my daughter for the first time in 9 weeks, and it was the first time in 7 weeks I'd actually had a physical cuddle or a hug from anybody, or as they say in Wales, a cwtch. Did you know that?
I have no idea. Can't speak Welsh, but that's okay.
CWTCH means cuddle or a hug. So, I had hugs and cuddles, and it was really beautiful because I walked in the door, and I know some people will have already seen this, but I walked in the door, and little Florence is standing behind the door, and she says, "Nanny, you're only entitled to one hug or one cuddle," which I thought was really hilarious. Made me just laugh out loud. And then we went off and we did what we normally do. We were playing, and she was doing pretend game, and she was pretending to be a mozzie coming to bite me, and I'm going, "Oh, no," and she said, "It's okay, darling. I'm only going to drink your blood." And that coming
out of the mouth of babes, yeah.
Sorry?
Out of the mouth of babes, yeah.
Yeah. She's 4 years old. I just thought that was so funny. I couldn't stop laughing, and I coughed and coughed, and she ran off to mummy. Mummy, Nanny's coughing. Oh dear. No, it's been a good week. And I've actually been studying, and we were talking this morning, Jeff, and I've been doing some studying, and I'm actually studying, it's to improve my mediumship and my spiritual background, history, philosophy. And I'm studying about the pioneers, and it's really interesting as I'm reading and going from one book to another book to another book, trying to find out snippets of information about all these different people. And if you don't realize, I don't think a lot of people realize that in the before the start of modern spiritualism, so in the 1700s and the 1800s and then the early 1900s, there were all these people out there that put their necks on the line to prove that spirit was real, and that they were an intelligent life force that were trying to communicate with us. And they were, or I think we were very lucky in the fact that some of these people were eminent scientists and top authors and things like that. I mean, the names of these people, and then the poor mediums, again, putting their necks on the line because they're saying, "Oh, I can talk to dead people." And then they're showing you all the, or they're doing all the physical mediumship, where the tables are flying around the room. And there's a guy called Daniel Dunglas Home who used to do levitation, and he would levitate off a chair, and then he would go through an open window, go through to the next room, come in an open window, but the window was opened by spirit, and then he'd come in the other room, and somebody said, "Oh, how did you do that?" And he said, "Oh, I'll show you." So he did it, and he went back the other way. So isn't that incredible? And I think so at the time we were going through the Industrial Revolution, and it was slavery and social reform, because there was child prostitution and all sorts of horrible, nasty things. And I think my take on it is that spirit people intelligence have come through and said, I think we need to help these guys. Let's prove to them that we're really there, and then let's see what we can do about helping them. And I'm hoping that they're doing the same with us at the moment, with all that's going on around us. But I just think that because one of the questions I was asked in the study was how important was it that about the physical mediumship and being able to show us all of these things, and my answer was that it was Spirit's way of showing us that they were intelligent beings, and they were just trying to prove that they really were there. So I think that's quite phenomenal, really.
I think you're showing another form of consciousness that
Yep.
It's almost like we've been under the thumb, isn't it? And no, it's not going to happen. You can't have that. And yet there's been instrumental people who have come up with ideas that just takes people breath away. I mean, just humbly, there's a guy who actually invented the windscreen wiper, and he came outside the actual car industry, and he came up with that idea. Now you got to ask yourself, the guy who came up with Eureka, when he was Archimedes, when he laying in the bath, and he just boom, the guy benzene, and he saw the pattern of hopscotch and realized, oh, there's the formula for benzene. So where do these people get those little touchy, feely things? It's a form of consciousness.
Well, exactly, because there's somebody up there that's talking to them, and they're unseen, but that doesn't mean to say that they're not there. So, and listen, I'm absolutely thrilled to bits with the fact that spirits around me. They've helped me so many times in my life in various ways. But it's interesting because I was looking. I talked to my students, and I know I mentioned this last year. How do we want to be remembered when we die? And I say to my students, when you're giving evidence about somebody, you have to remember that people's lives go in stages. So between 1 and 18, we're sort of three people, if you like. And then between 18 and 13, we're another person, 30. And then between 30 and 45, we're another person, then 45 to 65. And I'm just basing that on my own life. So anything I talk about is just my experiences. And I think, because we were talking today, Jeff, about Tracy Harding books, and she, in one of the, or in the book that I'm reading at the moment, talks about the different lives that she's been through. So she goes through the dark ages, and then comes to a different, and then goes to a different planet, and then with the aliens or whatever. And then she's got to the point where her spirit has gone so high that it just has to go up into the spirit world. So I think it's the rainbow consciousness, if I remember rightly. And I was thinking about us. So every stage of our life is a new life. And according to me, I've had more than 9. So I've got to be careful that I'm not a cat. Otherwise, I might not come back. So don't play What's New Pussycat. Otherwise, I might not be here. But so if you think about that, I mean, my childhood was one life. My teenage years was another life. My 20s was a completely different life. And in each of those stages and each of those lives, if you like, I've been a different person. I've learned new lessons. I've had, new hard things to learn as well. But I think we are progressing through life, but we do that in spirit as well. So we do I know I'm jumping all over the place here, but we reincarnate, and we come back as different people, different lives, different guises, and it's all about working our way to that final point where we don't have to come back anymore. So yeah. Anyway, if anybody's listening, I hope people are listening. I can't see anybody on at the moment.
Yeah, there's a large number of people.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not seeing anything.
Yeah, they've got every opportunity to make comments. Yeah.
No, I've clicked over, and yeah. So if anybody's got any comments or any thoughts on any of the things that I've said, fire away and let us know. You'll have to relay them to me, Jeff, because I'm just not seeing them.
Sue Jenkins, Susie Webb, Susie McDowell, Ian Taplin, Christine Arg, is it? Yavia Quintro, Katrina Moribito.
Oh, well, hi, everybody. Nice that you've joined us. It's a shame I can't see it, but anyway. So this is what I've been thinking, that we go through different stages of our lives, and we're progressing through our life to get to that final point where we're going to pass into the spirit world. Yeah, I would ask. I like this one. I asked the question. Or I've been asked the question, would I like to die? I'm just trying to think how I've been approached on this one. Okay, when I die, I'm going to die a happy person. And if I die today, then I will die a happy person, because I've achieved so much in my life, and I've done so many wonderful things, and I've met so many wonderful people, and I've experienced such a lot. And then going back to the pioneers, and I'm not saying that I'm a pioneer by any stretch of the imagination, but I think coming to Australia after listening to Spirit was a bit pioneering. But I think, yeah, I keep losing my track, Jeff. What's the matter with me tonight?
Oh, you got Brett. You watching?
Sorry?
Brett's watching.
Oh, hi, Brett. Hi, Brett. We're actually doing a church service for Brett tomorrow night. Sue, myself, and Brett. So that should be really lovely. But yeah, so going back, we're progressing up. I keep coming back to it. We're progressing up the spiritual ladder, and I'm going to go back to the pioneers of spiritualism. I would not have wanted to be in any of their shoes. That's what I want to go back to that. These poor people, I say poor people, I think Spirit chose very wisely. They chose strong, determined, courageous people, and they were not necessarily educated. Some of them, I know that Andrew Jackson Davis was 1826 to 1910, and he was a great advocate of spiritualism, and he didn't have an education. But through the use of Spirit connecting to him, he actually wrote so many books about what life was like in the spirit world. And he went into, or he was shown the spirit world and the schools that they set up. And then he was a big part of setting up the Lyceum, which was a school education, spiritual education for children. But they were, a lot of these mediums that were our forefathers or forebearers or whatever the word is, they were strip searched, they were tested. There was one lady I read about today, and she had 45 years of being scientifically investigated. Now, in this day and age, how many of us would actually want to be doing that? Because I don't think I would. And yet, in those days, would we have done it? I suppose I would have put my hand up and said, yeah. It's the same as coming here. Spirit said to me, give everything up in the UK, and you've got to go to Australia. Well, I listened and did it, and it happened. And everybody thought I was a complete Fruit Loop and I'd lost the plot completely. But I believed in what I do. I believed in Spirit. I believed in spiritualism, and I also believe passionately that we do not die, that when our physical body passes, our spirit still continues. And I'm going to come back and haunt an awful lot of people when I go.
So I'll just give you a couple of feedbacks here. You got Sue Jenkins saying we're listening, and you got Katie, I'm here, and you got Sue Jenkins is here, and Helen Legend. Hi, you too. So it's coming through on your private Facebook site. Yeah. So there you go. So you're not sort of just talking to you and me.
Yeah.
You're not talking to the two Ronnies here. So anyway, I think in what you're talking about in terms of consciousness, we've taken a great leap of faith in saying, okay, these people are going with an idea, feeling, sensory. It's setting a goal and walking towards it. I mean, as you're talking there, I was thinking of those Norwegian guys who was, racing to the pole, had no idea where they're going to, well, they knew they had the goal to get there, but going through all that sleet and snow and snowdrifts and whiteouts and blizzards and all that stuff. And that's really the strength of warriorship, isn't it? I mean, you could say they're, well, no different to yourself and being a spiritual warrior, eh?
Yeah, yeah. Because they had a passion and a belief, and they wanted to prove it to other people as well. And I suppose, you know, with the job that I do, I'm proving that to people all the time, and it's really hard because some people are so skeptical and they don't want to listen to you. And one of the things that I was writing today was in the in the days that I'm just been talking about of the pioneers. They didn't have all the distractions that we've got, you know, all the electrical input and the traffic and the airplanes going overhead, and it was all life was a lot slower, and they had more time to be able to put to investigating. But I think these days, how many people would actually want to sit week after week after week in a darkened room, waiting for something to happen? And I know that there are some people who do that, but it's not as, you know, it's not as it should. Well, it's not as it should be. It's not as it was. Put it that way. I know when 30 years ago, I used to sit every week in a development circle, and I had 2 small children. I was actually very sick and I didn't realize it. 3 small children, sorry, very sick. And I'd come home from work and fall asleep on the sofa, and Spirit would wake me. And it was funny, I never set an alarm. Spirit would wake me in time to get up and go out to my circle. And I never missed one, never. And it was just, I had to go, I had to be there. I was dedicated, I was passionate. I didn't get much, which is a bit of a shame, but I still went because I knew that that's what I was supposed to be doing. And I did that for a long, long time. And then I had to change groups and go elsewhere because that group disbanded. And I didn't realize that actually what's interesting about that particular group, the first one, was I didn't realize I wasn't getting very much at all. And when I look back on it now, yes, I wasn't getting much, but what Spirit was doing, they were building my crushed spirit. And if I'd gone out into the world being a medium at the time, I wouldn't be doing it as well as I'm doing it now, because I was destroyed internally, and I had to be built back up to be able to. You've got the strength now, girl. You can go out and do this. So there's the warrior back again. And listen, you know me, and a lot of people know me. I'm a fighter. I always have been. I've always been determined to. If I believe in something passionately enough, I will go out there and do it. So have we got any other questions or any other inputs?
Oh, sorry.
We'll have to work this out, Jeff, because I can't see anything.
No, I can't. I know they're there, but I can't see them myself. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
All right, I'll just keep talking. So
no, you don't have to keep on talking. I was interacting here. So let's come back till tomorrow night. Okay, so you're going to be in. Well, Brett's based in Newtown in Sydney. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he's doing a Zoom class. Yeah.
A Zoom church service. Actually, it's going to be done. So Sue from Wollongong is going to be there as well. So Reverend Sue, Reverend Brett, who's from Newtown, and me, Reverend Val, and we're all going to be doing it from my living room, which is really lovely. But we did it from the Wollongong church last month, but the technology wasn't as good as it could have been. So we're going to do it using a big TV screen so we can see people clearer. So it'll be mediumship, and it'll be a talk. You know, I'm not sure what the talk will be about, but yeah. And Brett does it once a month, but we're actually going to do once a fortnight. And the reason is that Wollongong Church, who runs every week, can't run. Obviously because of the virus and putting everything on hold. So we're going to do one for Wollongong's church and one for Connected Spirits at Newtown, and then but it'll all overlap because a lot of people like to come to both anyway. But it's brilliant actually that so many people are doing with Zoom and other things. I know we're using StreamYard here, which is a different platform again, and different churches are doing the services, and the interaction with the medium and the recipient is just as good. And I think a lot of people questioned that when this all first happened. And I know some people are trying to do services on Facebook Live, but there isn't that feedback, so the medium can't talk to a recipient and get a response. and I think that's a bit of a shame, really. But I think, take my hats off to everybody, because everybody's doing a really good job at trying to connect and continue offering the spiritual services for everybody. Because I think, it's like I was saying about the pioneers in the time when we had Industrial Revolution and everything was a bit horrible. Excuse me, people were looking for something. And that's when suddenly Spirit pops along and says, hey, we're here and we can help you, which I think is beautiful. And talk about, hey, I'm here. I've talked about this a few times, and a lot of people make a pact with their loved ones before they pass and say,
oh, yeah.
You know that you're around. Is that all right? Can I talk about that?
Yeah, because we had a mate, Rob, he passed away in Spain. And, God, every bloody light fitting around the joint was bloody flicking. Almost, because there was an electrician, you could actually work with it. So it was almost like SOS.
Yeah. I just love it, and Spirit are clever. They will let you know that they're around. But I know that my lovely friend Mary Edwards from Ewell, she was actually a Welsh lady, and she spoke very fast. And she was like, "My name is Mary Edwards, and I run this chapel in Ewell. I want you to come and serve my." I had to say to her, can you please stop, because I can't understand a word you're saying. Anyway, we became really, really good friends. And she was very sick, and I'd gone to sit with her. And I said, I'm writing a book, Mary, I need your input, so you can give me some of your stories and I can put them into the book. So we sat for 2.5 hours and I recorded it. And we had it was just lovely, because we laughed and laughed, and she had the terriblest, the worst of cackles. And anyway, I got all the information and I'd recorded it. And then a couple of weeks later, I was standing in my garden. It was July and it was a beautiful hot day, and I'm watching my fish, and all of a sudden I went, oh, hi, Mary. Oh, hi, Mary. And then within the hour, I got a phone call from her daughter to say that she'd passed. So anyway, I ended up, I thought I was reading at a funeral, and I ended up having to do the funeral service, which was beautiful. But what I hadn't known, excuse me, was that she'd made a pact with her son, only her son, to let everybody know, or to let him know, that she was still around. And she didn't tell anybody, and he didn't tell anybody. Anyway, when we were doing the funeral service, I'm standing up there, and at the end she'd requested all the things she wanted, certain readings and certain songs, and the last song came on, and it was Vera Lynn, We'll Meet Again. So the music piped up, and I said, come on, let's all join in. I said, Mary would be so happy if we all sang. So we raised the roof off the place. It was incredible. And as the music was playing, her son walked out from the back of the audience, and he's pointing at the wall. And he walked all the way down the aisle, and there was this golden ball of light, and it was bouncing off the wall. It bounced off everybody's hymn sheet. And then it just continued to bounce. And we're all going, oh my goodness, what's that? And we're looking to see if anybody had a reflection from a watch or something like that, and nothing. And anyway, when we went back to the chapel afterwards and we were chatting with him, he said, I can't believe she did it so quickly, but he said, that's what she told me she was going to do. She would show a golden ball of light to let us know that she was still around. And I thought, she'd only died the week before, and there she is at her funeral letting us know that she's there. And I just thought that was magical, absolutely magical. So I'm sure other people have had experiences like that, where they've made a pact with loved ones, and have they let you know that they were there, and how do they do it? So I know we get a lot of spirit visitations in our dream state. So when our physical body sleeps, our spirit doesn't. And our spirit is in the spirit world with the people that we need to be with, who are going to give us answers or comfort or help or whatever. And yeah, I was telling you, Jeff, I've been having the most strange dreams, being paraded in front of an auditorium of people, and all the people up the front are all in white, and I'm standing there in bubbly pink pajamas, and I'm trying to work out what that's all about, but I'm being paraded up in front of everybody. So I'm standing there looking down thinking, oh my goodness me, I've got my bubbly pajamas on. And then the next, I think 2 nights after that, I had a dream where I was brushing all these cobwebs off me. I was completely covered in cobwebs and spiders, which I don't particularly like spiders, but every way I turned, the cobwebs were there. And I know both of those have got some spiritual meaning. And I know, you know, when you feel spirit close to you, it feels like a cobweb on your face or on your hair or whatever. And I've had that so many times in the past. Yeah. So have you had things like that, Jeff?
All the time. All the time. Funny enough, I get animals come, all the different animals come and they start talking to you in English, tell you what's going on.
Yeah.
Mind you, in the physical world, 7 o'clock, the kookaburras turn up at the back door patio, and they start talking, you know, like doing their kookaburra stuff. So they're looking for mints. So obviously I've got the mints ready for them. So there's 4 kookaburras, 10 currawongs, 2 butcherbirds, 5 Indian miners, and 3 crows. So I'm quite sure it's like how many 12 days of Christmas, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny, I was out on one of my walks about a month ago, something like that. And there was actually, no, it was before lockdown. So there was a crow in the tree, and he's, you know, they don't, I love the noise the crows make. And I said, oh, hello, Mr. Crow, how are you doing? And I stood there for a little while and I was watching him, and I was saying, you've got a message for me, because I know that they're messengers. I've been told that by some Aboriginal friends. And before I knew it, there were about 20 crows in the tree. They all just gathered, flew in, and it was just totally bizarre. So I love the messages that our animal friends give to us. It's good.
All right. Well, there's one stage there, not so much lately, but every day I'd go out and there'd be a feather placed in just about where I was going to put my next foot. You know, one day I had 12, I think, feathers.
Yeah.
Quite often, and sometimes they're right out there at the front door, just like right where you got to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very.
I'm the same. I get lots of feathers all the time, and I was sitting in my garden again a couple of weeks ago, and actually it was the beginning of lockdown, I think it was, and I found the tiniest baby feathers ever, and there were 3, and I'm thinking, I've never had little teeny weeny ones like that before. I'm wondering what that's about. Anyway, I picked them up and took them in, as I do. I've got a collection of feathers all over the place and in my car. And then later that day, I suddenly thought, oh, I know what that was about. My youngest granddaughter was due to go to the hospital to have some tests done, and it was Spirit's way of saying, we're looking after the baby. So it was baby feathers, and they're looking after the baby. So I just thought, oh, that is just so lovely. I think, yeah. Listen, whether it's a bird or, I've got to tell you a funny story about feathers. I was, this is a few years ago now, and I was still in the UK. So I've been here 10 years, so it's over 10 years. And I was angry one day, and I thought, right, I'm going out for a walk, Spirit, and I want you to be with me, and I need some answers, and I need some help. And I said, I want signs. I want to know that you're there with me. And I know a lot of people who work with Spirit get a question in or question Spirit. Anyway, I put on my rucksack and off I went, trek. And I'm walking down the road, and there's one feather, and then there's another feather, and then there was another feather, and then I walked round the corner and there were hundreds. So a cat had obviously had a bird. So and it just made me laugh, because I said to Spirit at the time, okay, and they said to me, we don't need to prove to you that we're with you, because you know that we're with you. So anyway, I just accepted it. I just accepted it. So what was the other? Sorry?
Yeah, as you would.
As you would, yeah. And listen, I've been talking to Spirit since I was 7 years old. For me, I mean, at 16, I pushed them away because I was terrified of all the things that were happening to me, and I couldn't understand them. I couldn't talk to anybody about it. So I just went, sorry, guys, you're going to have to go away. I don't understand. I'm frightened. But I actually made a pact with them, which is interesting. Don't ask me why I did this, but I said, please go away and leave me alone. But when I'm ready and when I understand, I'll let you back in. So off they went, left me alone. So I was 16. And when I was 34, I walked into a spiritualist church because I needed some help. And that was the door opening for Spirit. And then I haven't looked back since then. And my spiritual growth has been fantastic since then, and the awareness of them. Yeah, so I can see Helen. Helen is the only one I can see on here. Hello, Helen.
So you've got Sue Edmund. Spiders are about spiritual strength, and the web is you're being protected. Bella, rainbows, always rainbows. Henry Buller. 38 years ago, when Warrington Spiritual Church started, they would not call it a spiritualist church. Now that there are a lot of churches, but it's not till now on Facebook you realize just how many people do believe in spirit world, but are too afraid to say anything to other people. Now they can write questions on Facebook. Now I think there are more people believing than do not. Okay.
Yeah.
On to that.
Well, I know when I first started off with working with Spirit, I didn't tell anybody what I did because I thought they'd think I was a complete nutcase. I am, and I don't care anymore. But now I'm very proud to say I'm a spiritualist. I believe in spiritualism, and that's my life. I believe that when we pass, we don't pass. The physical body passes, but the spirit lives on. I think that's a wonderful thing to believe. I don't want to think that I'm going to. Actually, that's interesting because so many people come to me, and if they've lost a child, they get really, really sad because they don't want to think that their child is wandering around in the ether on their own, or they're lost souls or whatever. They need to know that they're, first of all, out of pain and discomfort, 2, that they're being looked after, and 3, that they're still around the family. And I think that is really, really important. So that's put an awful lot of people at ease, made them feel very comforted, just knowing that.
Well, Michelle's Lee Murray's come on and said that she gets robins every time I go walking, which is most days, 1 or 2 mostly. So, and you got some big high fives there from Adam Smith and Stella Sylvester. Yeah.
Oh, well, it's lovely that there's so many people on. I love that. I wish I could see the comments myself, but anyway, never mind. So we're in this situation, and we're trying to stay positive, and I hope everybody is staying positive, and you're making the most of the time that you've got. I think I'm laughing at the number of people who say, I've never baked a cake in my life, and all of a sudden I've baked 2 in a week, and things like that. And I've become very inventive with my cooking skills. I know Brett was saying the other day he's become very inventive as well. And the other night we had a Zoom party, which was really lovely. I sat out in my back garden. It was freezing cold and blowing a gale. I thought I was going to be like in the Wizard of Oz and go, up into the heavens. But anyway, it was really lovely. So I think people are, making the most of this situation, and trying to stay strong and trying to stay positive and trying to stay happy. Now, it's interesting because when we're forced into a situation that is alien to us, we can't always be nice and happy and smiley. And I know, myself included in that. I've had my down days as well as a lot of up days. And but when you do have a down day, it's almost like people don't like it. Well, I'm a human being at the end of the day, and I've got feelings and the same as everybody else. And just because I appear to be bubbly and bouncy majority of the time doesn't mean to say I have to be like that all the time. So you've got to take that into consideration. Not everybody can be up there all the time, and there's a lot of people who are struggling through this situation, and they really are trying to, in whatever way they can, to stay upbeat. But it isn't always easy. Especially, I've got a friend in the UK, Jenny Doherty. She might be on here, I don't know. And she lives in an apartment and can only go 500 meters outside of her home, and that's it. I think that's shocking. So that's why I think I'm so lucky and blessed, and that's why I take all the gorgeous photographs and put them up so people, I can share those with people. That actually reminds me when I first started coming over to Australia, and I used to take lots and lots of photographs and share all my stories. And I remember somebody saying to me once, we're able to, or we can't do the journeys that you do, but we're able to share the journeys with you through your stories and through your photographs. And I know you do the same, Jeff. You actually share lots of photographs with people. But it is there's lots of things that we can share. It doesn't have to be verbally or physically. It can be just the lovely pictures and the lovely experiences that we have. And I know I shared recently the fact that I had a not nice experience from somebody on Facebook that upset me, but I think a lot of people are going through all of that as well. So what was I put here something about leap of faith. So many of us are in that place of fear, and I think that's where we are, a lot of us at the moment, and we're a bit stuck and we can't move forward. What do I do? Where do I go? And I was thinking about the 7 principles, and the 5th one is personal responsibility. So you can make those choices and decisions for yourself, and then you can actually get yourself into a positive state. And it's not always easy to be in a positive state, but you have to pull it from somewhere. You pull it from inside of you somewhere, and you've got to really make it. Some days I didn't even want to get out of bed over my lifetime, and but you have to get up. You have to put your face on. You have to go out. You have to meet people and do the things that you do. Not you know what I mean, Jeff, don't you? You don't do it. You have to do it. You have to make yourself do it, and it is really hard because we don't always feel like doing that. Sometimes you just want to curl up in a ball and hide yourself away and not come out or whatever. I've had lots of those. But so what I put here was stay positive and eliminate words like I can't for I can, and I am able and I can do it, because we can do anything we want to do if we want to do it badly enough. Be happy within, as that will reflect around you. Let go of unwanted or negative situations, friends, even family. Just because they're your family doesn't mean to say you have to like them. That's a bit controversial, but never mind.
No, it's not, because Don Tolman talks about that. He talks about the success in life, and that's walking 30 minutes a day and fresh water and fruit and veggies. Have a passion or something in life, and don't put on your skin what you can't eat. So it's a great one for coconut oil and olive oil. But more importantly, it comes back to what you just said. Make sure you get out of all the toxic relationships. Yeah,
any relationship, exactly. And even a toxic relationship could be work. I mean, work is a relationship. So I've got here, you don't have to climb the mountain in front of you. You can just walk around the bottom of it. Sometimes we see a mountain and think, oh, we've got to climb up that. It's so difficult, so impossible. But all you have to do is just walk around the bottom. I've seen a saying about that somewhere, about the boots at the bottom of a mountain. I can't remember what it is. Surround yourself with love. and make sure that that love is within you as well. That's really, really important. So if you don't love yourself, then, you know, how do you expect others to love you? Help others where you can, because this in turn helps you. I think the act of giving is the most wonderful, wonderful, rewarding thing ever. And I think the more, and I'm actually seeing that now, you know, we're in a situation where people are trying to help one another, and it's just wonderful because you're seeing a lot of really good things coming out of that. So remember, what you give out, you get back tenfold. So make sure that you give out good things, and your cup is always half full, never half empty. And don't think lack, think abundance. So no matter what you've been through, keep chasing your dreams. Now that comes back to what you started calling this radio thing about, what was it? Go for your dreams?
Dream the dream.
Dream the dream, that's the one. And I know myself, as far as I'm concerned, coming to Australia was a dream. I never thought in a million years it would become a reality, but I held on to that dream and I didn't let it go. Becoming a medium was exactly the same. You know, being able to help people, it's exactly the same. It's a passion, it's a dream, it's something that I've really held on to. And it's interesting because Spirit actually told me that I'm going to be 92 when I die, and that I'm going to die. I'm going to say die on the job. That sounds bad, but I'm going to continue working until the day I die, and I'm absolutely thrilled with that. Yeah. I said that's
visions
okay.
Visions of Tommy Cooper there.
Oh yeah, Tommy Cooper, love him. He died on the stage of the London Palladium doing a live show. And everybody thought it was part of the act. And the whole audience were laughing. So they pulled the curtains and his feet were sticking out. So then they dragged him back. And, of course, everybody's in hysterics. And then, of course, they had to announce that he'd actually had a heart attack. So, yeah. Listen, I want to be like that. I want to go in a situation where I'm happy and doing what I absolutely love, doing the best. So, yeah, and I'm happy to work for Spirit until the day I die. I listen, and I know there's an awful lot of people out there that are doing exactly the same, and I really take my hat off to everybody that works in this field, because it's not an easy field to work in, because we get a lot of criticism and just criticism, and people question, but I get cross sometimes because I think, well, why criticize and question when you don't really know? What do they say? Behind closed doors, you don't know what goes on behind closed doors. And it's the same. This job was thrust upon me, as it has been with a lot of people, but there's a lot of people out there who do the most amazing job. I've lost you, Jeff. You've just disappeared, so I don't know where you've gone. You must still be there. Anyway, what is happening with all of you? Let me know. You know, send me some comments so I know what you're all up to. I'm hoping that you're all healthy, happy, and you know, getting on the best you possibly can with all of this stuff that's going on around us. I'm sure we'll come out of it in the end, and things will all be good. But yeah, we've got frustrated because we can't play music, and the music we can't do because of the rights of Sony, I believe. So I was sharing this earlier with Jeff. I do a vision board. I don't know if anybody else does vision boards, but I do a vision board. And I wrote this vision board at the beginning of the year. And on it, I've actually got that I'm going to travel. Well, that was curtailed, and that I was going to be online, doing online work. I never imagined that would actually happen, and here we are. And that I was going to be doing this year video and radio recordings, and here I am doing exactly that. So I've put in things about you know, having health, good health, having a good home, and what's that one say? I am in charge of how I feel, and today I put something up like that on Facebook today, actually. I choose happiness. And I think that's what we all have to do. We have to choose happiness. We have to look at how we can make our lives. Oh, here he comes. He's back. Where'd you go?
I was trying to work out why the comments weren't coming up so that you can read them. So
Yeah.
I was looking behind the scenes in the control manual. So.
Okay. I tell you what I will do is I'll go and read all the comments afterwards, and I'll answer if any of them need answering. I will answer them. So if anybody's got any questions, please fire away.
Look at that. There's 46 comments here. So Adam is saying at home recovering from a back injury, and Pat Twiggy well said it's a hard job, but we will do our best. And Bella is singing "You Are My Sunshine."
Bella's so sweet. She really is so sweet. So what have I been doing to keep myself occupied? I've been doing 5 Zoom classes, one in the UK and then 4 in Australia. And I cannot believe how fantastic they are. And everybody's really enjoying them. And tomorrow morning, I've got to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to do, or I will be starting a class at 5 o'clock in the morning. And then I've got a church service at 6:30. And then I've got a class at 8 o'clock, which is, so tomorrow's going to be an absolutely crazy day. I'm going to be exhausted on Wednesday, I think. But absolutely loving the fact that I can connect to people. So in the classes, I've got 6 people from the UK, and then I've got people from Perth, from America, from New Zealand, all over Australia, and we're just doing classes as if I was, interacting with them right in my own living room. It's just wonderful. So I think that, a lot of people have pulled out the stops as far as this technology stuff is concerned, and realised that, we don't need expensive venues and to travel. Actually, I find that sad because I actually like the travelling. So I will come back to, I know my friends in Bordertown have said, you've got to come back and see us. And I promise you, I will come back and see you. Because, I've been very blessed and very lucky. I mean, I've travelled to some really out of the way places. I mean, Bordertown's got a population of about 2,000 people. And I think I must have done readings for nearly every one of them. And you go over there and they absolutely, they support the workshops, they support the shows, they support the readings. And it's a little tiny place right in the middle of nowhere, but they're just beautiful. And the same as Dubbo and Parks and, places like that. I've just gone to some crazy little I say crazy little places. They're not, they're beautiful. And the people are beautiful. But I've been very lucky, all the traveling that I've been able to do.
Very good. And then Australia's a big country, so for a blonde-headed woman walking or driving around Australia, you've done pretty well, haven't you? Yeah.
Well, I've just recently 6 months ago, got rid of my car. And my car, when I first bought it, had 150,000 kilometres on the clock. And when I got rid of it, I think it was just under 400,000. So I'm a bit crazy because I go, right, I'm off here. I'm going to jump. My son-in-law makes me laugh because I have plans, and then I say, right, okay, I'm changing my mind. I'm going to do something else. So I'll just get in the car, put all my stuff in, and just head up. And I did that at New Year, didn't I?
You did.
I woke up on New Year's Eve and thought, I'm not going to stay here on New Year's Eve on my own. So I jumped in the car. I drove all the way to Brisbane, 12 hours, and then went out partying, and then just crashed in a complete heap. Just so I could be with friends. It was really quite special. So, but that's me. I'm a bit crazy in that respect. But I love the fact that I can do that. Living the dream. Exactly, living the dream. I never thought in a million years ago that I would be in this situation, being able to be free to do what I do and to travel, be a free spirit. And I am a free spirit. So I want to know what everybody else has done that's crazy or wonderful, or, how they've made their lives different and how they've lived the dream. I know a lot of my friends have done different things, and then a lot of the people I know, they say, "Oh, I can't," but yes, you can. Absolutely, yes, you can. If I can do what I've done, anybody can do anything. Yeah,
that's right.
That's right. Seriously. Yeah. Anyway, we could.
On a motorbike. You can get on a motorbike, and you become a hero on a motorbike. You can ride horses. And it was I had to go to work yesterday at Beachmont, and it was amazing how many people were on push bikes climbing up those bloody hills. you see the runners running out there in open spaces, like that's tough yakka, eh? So
yeah,
mind you, yesterday was such pristine, so I got on my gear and gone in the car and coming up to Beachmont, and at Lower Beachmont you can look right out over the Gold Coast, and it was really early morning, and I had to stop the car just to take a photo because the ocean was so blue.
Yeah.
And you're looking down on the Hinds Dam, and it was just vibrant blue. It was just amazing, eh? And just to go a bit further, then you got to stop the car again and take another photo. And this time it's Mount Warning, from a different angle that you don't normally get to see.
Yeah.
So that's just a matter of taking time out. And I think that's one of the things that's actually happening is that people have tonight, for example, have come through and listening to the show and making some comments, and they're stepping out from what's been a busyness to a time of listen to my own intuition and get my own sense of direction and where I'm going.
Yeah.
I think that's the most important thing. Yeah.
Well, that was part of the question that I was answering with the study that I'm doing. It said, why was physical phenomena so prominent in the day, so 1900s? And I said, I think it was because, I think I said this earlier, we're so bogged down by technology, by TV, by phone, by texts and emails and noise. We're surrounded by noise all the time. And it's interesting because I sat in my garden yesterday and I thought, this is so peaceful. All I could hear was the birds. And I could hear the bees, and I could hear the flies, all that sort of thing. And it was just really lovely. And I did the same yesterday on my walk. I couldn't get over how many more people are out on bikes or walking. So people are taking the time to actually go out and, find themselves, do things differently. It's just beautiful. But it's everything is, as you said, the colour of the sea was more... what did you say? The word? Vibrant, absolutely. And I've seen an abundance of butterflies and the colours and the sizes. Yesterday, my garden was full of little tiny blue butterflies. And then today, my garden was full of yellow, bigger butterflies, about 2 inches across. I just think everything. I don't know. I don't know whether I want to go back to normality, because normality was, as you said, too busy, too crazy.
Well, if people are ready for it, I'll give them my synopsis. And I think I may have indicated to you, I know I was talking to Helen today, and I call it the monopoly syndrome. Yeah, so I think we're all familiar with monopoly. Yeah. So we all sit around the table and we throw the dice, and the one who gets the double sixes or whatever becomes the banker, and then the banker then opens up the box, and there's all this money that's been printed out of thin air, and he starts distributing all the money to the players, and your job is to obviously try and get Paul Moore, or if you don't get that, you got to get Bond Street. If you don't get that, you end up with Old Kent Road, and or
you go to jail.
Well, the thing is, if you go past go, you get $200 from Centrelink, or from your government's pension fund. So you make sure you get your $200 every time you go around go. And then you have a superannuation plan that buys into utilities, the water, electricity, the railway stations. And of course, then you get one house, you get two houses. It's all this commercialism, accumulation of houses, then hotels, and guess what? You get bankrupt. So one of the players, okay, I'm out of the game, goes outside, kicks a ball around. Next second, someone else has come and joined them. Next second, they're playing cricket in the backyard of mum's. Yeah. And lo and behold, it's the banker. The banker wins. The banker produced money out of thin air, was giving out the money. Everybody worked to live, lived to work, to play this game, get in the house. And now, end of the day, everybody's left the game, and we're all starting a new game. What's the new game? The new game is to dream the dream. And it's about, let's look at all these different people, individuals who've come forth to be masters of different aspects of our society, whether it's Dr. Momoto's in the water and the way you can talk to the water and you can give a vibration to the water based on your thoughts and your aspirations. If it's not that, then it's to do with like places like Finland. It shows you how you can work with elementals, and you can produce veggies of some magnitude. And then you got those who are musicians who have found the solfeggio scale and the old scale of music, which brings harmonic tones to your body. Then you start finding that you can start healing your own physical body. With particularly like having Julia on Thursday night, who's a Qigong exponent, Tai Chi, quantum healing. That we start realizing that we start working with our body. We can start healing our body based on all the food processes that have been given to us. That, obviously there's been processed food, and we're not eating the live food that's coming through the food chain. We've poisoned our water, we've poisoned our land with all these chemicals, and we're coming through. And our medical society says, oh, you're dead. We'll call it this cancer because they've got no other aspirations and names to that particular component. And now we get to a point where, we're sure we've lived, but are we living? I think we're really becoming quite, in those movies that come out, zombie-like, because we're just placed in a situation. We live in a box. We're not in a square. We're living in a rectangle. The rectangle is a car that goes from your home to another square. Life's rectangles and squares. And then you start thinking, well, there must be more to life than this. And then all of a sudden, you start walking along the beach, you can smell the ozone, you're starting to get in tune with yourself, you switch off the TV news, the current affairs shows, you start tuning off current affairs shows on the radio, and guess what? You start going out into nature. And yesterday, on Saturday, it was amazing. The Aguilar National Park, people turned up and they were walking through the national park, feeling nature, and getting in touch, getting grounded. Something's happening. There's a shift there, and I think we just have to move out of fear-based concepts. Today, a spiritual man put up a photo. It's at Burleigh Heads, and the caption was actually from a newspaper that says, they've been released. Now they've taken over the beach. They haven't kept their status and all that stuff. And you look at the photo and you can see it's been deceptively manipulated because it's a telephoto shot, and it goes from Burleigh all the way north up to the surface. And the way it looks is that people are all, you can't see the spatial distance. But if you take a photo from west looking east, you'll see that everybody's walking with ample room between everybody. And you're thinking, how deceptive was that? Yeah. And people have been caught into that paradigm. So now it's a case of you've got to listen to your own heart, listen to your own intuition, and find other like-minded people who can raise and lift you up, and so you don't dwell in that place of a fear-based modality. So time to get out of monopoly, start looking at how you can share your life with other people. As in Star Trek First Contact, Picard's talking to the girl from the 21st century. This is all titanium. Where did you get all that? Well, hello, we don't have capitalism in the way that you do it. We actually evolved and we became a nation or a people that was about seeking personal growth and developing in our own personal interests and passions. And I think that's where the secret is, isn't it?
I know you said when you were talking then, you said something about more to life. I know when I was 13 years old, I said to my mum, there has to be more to life than this. We cannot be born and learn and then die, and that's the end of us. There's got to be more to life than that. And I started searching from the age of 13, so I knew that there was something other than the box and the family and the things that we were doing within our little environment there. And I've been searching ever since, and I'll continue to search until I do die, because I know that if we keep searching and trying to progress ourselves, then we're just going to get better and better. But I think you're right. This has all happened, and I think we're going to come out of it completely differently. And we all will be viewing life differently. I hope we do, because I don't think we could go back to what we were all like before, because as you said, we were all like zombies. We were just doing what we were told because we were told to do it. And now we need to think differently, think outside of that box.
Well, in the early days, when money was scarce and we didn't have the print the money scenario, organised communities formed cooperatives. And cooperatives, was the people from the land and the people from the little village and the people from the transportation logistics, and became a cooperative. That to me is the secret.
Yeah, working together and sharing.
You got to work. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I look at around today, and if I go back 30 years, communities got together and said, "Oh, look, we need a community centre." Yeah, and people would come together and supply the timber, the lumber, might supply the land, and then mums and dads, grandparents would come down, the kids would come down. So you built this community spirit where, okay, the mums might bring the scones and the cakes and all that stuff, and the boys would go off and get all the saws and nails and stuff, and so you build a community. Now, you got to have a blue card, white card, gold card, a temporary fencing, and you got to have all this stuff. And so it's been billeted out, to tenders. So a business builds it, and there's no love, there's no passion in the building, and that you lose your community's sense of coming together.
I got to tell you something funny. I had 2 sofas, which were really, about 5 years ago, I had nothing when I first came to Sydney, and I was given so much stuff, and I picked up 2 sofas for free. And the other day I was sitting in them and I was trying to do some work, and I thought, that's it, they've got to go, they're just not comfortable anymore. So I went out and I was looking for new sofas, and if I'm going to offend anybody, I'm sorry, but everywhere I went, all the furniture was made in China, and I thought, oh no. Anyway, I chose some sofas, and off they came home, and the labels were on them, and I pulled the labels off, and I had a look, and it said made in Vietnam. So, yes. So I've got now 2 lovely sofas that I can sit on, curl it up in a ball, and hide myself away from the world if I need to, and I don't have to worry about it. So yeah. And because we're getting cooler as well, I can sit in the warmth of my living room and do my studying or whatever, and I'm all nice and snug. So yeah.
Yeah. So got a letter in the mail this week, and it's from our local council, and we used to have a few of these, but now they've restricted them to twice a year, and it is the council allows you to come and basically empty your house of stuff that you don't want and put it out on the grass. Yeah. Curbside collection. So we used to have about 3. I think it's down to 2 now. But I mean, as in terms of cleansing and get rid, you don't realise how powerful that is in itself too, where you got all this clutter and all of a sudden you're decluttering, it's like defragging your computer.
I think a lot of people have been clearing out. When I'm talking to people, oh, we're just clearing out the garage. Oh, we're just doing this. And it's really lovely. And it is a really, I don't know, liberating. I think because I've travelled so extensively for the last 10 years, I don't have much clutter at all. I think the only things that I keep that are precious are in one tub. And the rest of it, yeah, it's not important. Anyway, we need to close this down. And we always do a bit of a healing thing at the end, and we're not going to be able to play any music, are we? Because they keep shutting us off for the music. But I just want everybody to be able to think and maybe do this in your own personal space. We will try and sort out music because I think...
So I'll just let people know because I think they deserve to know. Okay, so Radio FM88 Australia, it's a free-to-air radio station. You can listen on the internet. You can down the app. And we've merged this technology, and Val like to have a signature sign off with Michael Jackson, Heal the World. And as a result, we've played it, and no sooner anybody who's listening to the show live gets to hear it. When it gets finished and then it gets put up for a replay, we get intervention from Facebook to say that Sony Corporation has claimed content ownership for content. And so what happens then is that we either have to delete or we dispute. So I always put in for dispute because we're a free-to-air registered licensed radio station, but we also pay copyright fees. And so my dispute is the fact that it's just what we do as a radio station. So, but at the same token, when you come back to replay it, you just hear us, and we're not talking because we're listening to the music, but Facebook's come in and has actually muted it. So for 2 minutes or whatever, 2.5 minutes.
Got Val dancing.
Yeah, but you're not hearing music because Facebook.
No music.
Being told by Sony they can't do it. So yeah, so that's why we're at. But if you've got classical music, obviously it's gone past copyright time, so you can actually play classical music. If there's music that you know someone's composed it and allows it to be freely played, well, so be it. But anyway, so Sony Corporation paid $200 million US for Michael Jackson's music, hence the reason. Yeah. I just wanted to pass that on.
But I'm going to ask everybody when we finish here, please send that healing energy out to our world, to our planet, to each person that you know, and whether that's healing for the virus or healing for any other. I'm hearing so many different people are telling me that they know so many people that are sick. So, and whether that's in mind, body or spirit, we've got to send that lovely energy out to every single person that we know and just radiate it. Imagine, so I was taught many years ago from a book that I read by Betty Shine, that you imagine a laser beam of light and you just aim it out. And then because we're sending it out to our world, we can expand it. And I think I've told people the story before about aiming a laser beam of light at somebody. And it was a young man on a train. And I looked up from the book as I was reading it. And this young man standing there with his leg all in plaster. And I thought, oh, I'm going to give this a go. So I imagined my laser beam of light and I zapped him and he fell over. I've never run off a train so fast in my life. But it works. It works. The power of collective thinking and collective thought really, really does work. The power of positive thinking. So we've got to think our world. Imagine the world in your hand. And imagine that you're putting all the love from yourself into that world and every single thing on it, every living creature, every living plant, everything, and that we're helping our own world. And I get really cross with some people because they say, oh, I'm just a little person. I can't, but yes, you can. Every single one of us can make a difference if we do it all together. So let's just think those thoughts and just imagine that laser beam and just imagine it spreading right out across our world. And let's help to make this world a better place.
There you go.
Heal the world. Make it a better place. I can sing it. They can't stop me doing that, can they?
No. Get the lyrics, throw the lyrics up. All right. Well, as you sign off, what are you saying? What's your favourite?
Yep. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for listening. I'm going to go and have a look at all the comments. We will work out why I can't see the comments because I do answer people's comments and like them, but I'll go and pay attention to whatever you've put down there. And thank you for being part of tonight. I've
gone through and clicked likes. Yeah, but anyway. All right, I'll let you do that, and then I'll just sign off, and we can stay on there. Sort that out.
Okay.
Good night. Thank you, love.
Bye.